The old MS-291. Shh. Nobody tell the soup mix we're cheating on her.
The world famous soup mix.
Temperamental enough as it is, I don't need any drama in that relationship. I left a little firewood out in the woods, and as you can tell by the state of affairs here, well, the white stuff is gonna bury us up to our neck here in no time. So what do you say? We take the old 4 tracks, go have a gander, see if we can't hopefully remember where I left it. Wasn't this just a fine start to an adventure? Had to duck in the tool trailer to get a wrench. Don't want to go out in the woods with no tools. The soup mix was in there. You know, she saw that I was cheating on her. Probably gonna be temperamental now next time we go to use it. I'll tell you, I've said this before in videos and I'll say it again. Might not be the fastest horse in the barn, but the old Honda, it can't be beat. Well, we need to get, there's a tree there that's down. No firewood left behind is the idea, but let's swing us around to the other side of the back 40 here and see if we can't get some stuff that's already cut. I got some stuff from a tree that we cut up for the mill, and well, just all the pieces didn't get picked up, so oh boy, we're gonna get wet, I think. Now folks, I heard it said in a video one time, I saw in a comment, oh, we really appreciate how so-and-so places the camera in the snow so you can't see his footprints, you know, attention to detail. I hate to break the mystique of it for you. The camera don't get out ahead of the quad by itself. And, well, sometimes she's tough slugging, so just ignore the footprints. There, I should have brought something to sit on. Well, it's getting a wet ass, I guess. You know, every time I hook up the skimmer to the quad or the snowmobile or whatever, it just gives you such a good feeling of a good time, you know. It's memories of going out to the cabin or going tobogganing or getting firewood or wherever the case might be. It's just like one of them childhood things, I think, you know. It's a winter wonderland. Holy moly! Woo-hoo-hoo! Remember, it might look a little rotten, but all firewood is good firewood. Let's get her loaded up. I feel like it's snowing hard enough, not, you know, I'm on my own property, but I feel like it's snowing hard enough that a guy ventures out into the woods on a day like this, and you're like, oh, we're having fun, do-do-do-do-do, and then you go back to go out the trail you came in on, and you're like, huh, it's kind of snowed a foot, and now we're loaded full of gear. How are we getting out of here? It seems we've had a little technical difficulties, folks. The old media mod doesn't like the precipitation. So you might see a little bit of stuff with a little bit of overlaid music because, well, we had a breakdown. Now I'm only gonna split these in half. How much you split your wood really depends on the stove or the furnace that you're putting them into. For me, I'm putting them in an actual wood furnace, and I'm looking to get that burn overnight. You know, anywhere from 8 to 12 hours, depending on the quality of the wood. This isn't the greatest, but it's better than nothing. And I'm only splitting them in half because I can fit at least 3 or 4 of these in the firebox and not have to worry about getting up in the night because I'm still young enough, I don't have to get up to pee. rotten. Oh well, she'll burn. How heavy do we want to load it? Guess that kind of depends on how badly we'd like to get out of here. I personally find it a lot more satisfying when you come across a YouTube channel that's doing something with firewood and they can actually show you what they're gonna do with the firewood. They're not just splitting firewood, shirtless, reviews, you know what I'm saying? Ugh. Mind you, I guess if I had a better physique, might not be a bad way to get some subscribers. All right, a smart man knows when enough is enough. We're gonna make a bold commitment here, and we're gonna leave the saw and the tools here. That way, no matter the temptation, say a beautiful wife with a beautiful hot lunch that she's trying to get me to come in and have, I have to come back to get the saw. Well, it's just the still we're leaving out here. If it was a soup mix, well then friends, you know we'd be coming back for her. Well, there's no question, are we getting wet now? That ain't coming off. Oh yeah, that's, you know that's back there. No. What are you doing here? It's like my first day. You gotta get a little weight on the outside edge. Man down, man down. You gotta control your enthusiasm, Sprucestomper. Oh, I see something we gotta check out on the way back. Oh, we must have had a couple. Well, I know we've had moose back here, but I'll show you on the way back. They have been molesting trees back here. Must have a couple bulls wandering about. Well, we're stuck on a tree. It's a good thing we left the chainsaw behind. Yep, now you done it. Classic case of zigging when you should have been zagging. Or driving with two hands. That would have helped, two hands. What the heck is underneath this thing? More trees than you can shake a stick at. Well, more power. How's that go? When in doubt, throttle out. See, once you get down to the dirt, then there's traction there. We were like 2 blocks of firewood away from total disappointment there. That little bit of a hill, and that's all she could do. Let's have a look at this moose business back here, because I've changed my mind about how far we're gonna ride the quad. I was just off the trail here, not that far. Oh man, we got tons of firewood back here, boys. Tons of firewood back here. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The old balsam tree. Kind of the shits, but look at this. Look at how much this has all been beat up here. There's tons of tracks going on. And look at here, fellas. This is what those moose were up to, folks. Look at that. Raked it completely naked. You know the real tragedy about all this? I mean, it's cool to see the wildlife, but out of all the trees that he could erect, out of any of the tree, He wrecked the one nice pine tree that was growing back here. Isn't that the way, eh? Moose only wreck the trees you don't want them to touch, but that's pretty dang neat. Right down. Just the whole thing. Branch, de-branch, the branches are all on the ground there. Big old stomping pad. He must have been having quite the time. We see tracks all the time back here. Because what they come for is, this is the lagoon for the house at the back of the property here on this particular trail. And they'll come down to the edge because they know it's here, and they'll paw the edges down and have a little sip of turd water, I guess. But anyways, nice to know that they're here. It's nice to see kids enjoy it. Somebody made a real mess here. Poor Honda's never been revved like that in her life. That's not true. Not a little abuse, but that's not what you tell people on sale day, right? Who am I kidding? I'm gonna own that thing forever. You don't get rid of a Honda. You just keep the old one. Oh, I got so rowdy. I lost a block of firewood. You don't get rid of a Honda. You just buy a new one and you keep the old one. I turned the camera off now, but my hands are full. Well, we find ourselves back here at headquarters. What do we got? A couple of salvaged sheets of tin that we're using as tarps, basically. And the beauty of this wood is before it gets burned in the house, got a little bit of snow on the outside of it, but you take it into the heated garage, she's thawed out, lickety split, and this little dust in the snow, it doesn't matter. Alrighty. That's the last piece there. We're gonna have to shovel some of that off, but you can kind of see the idea we got going here. This covered. I'll shovel it off here at some point, but for you know, for project's sake, the woodshed hasn't quite made it to the top of the list of things to do yet since we've been living on this piece of property, and this functions well. The furnace's size in the house is such that if it's really under -10, I don't tend to get into it too much, or we haven't yet, because it makes the house so dang hot so fast. It's a little uncomfortable, and I know that's who open a window, eh? I would, but you know, before you could burn natural gas, wasn't that big of a deal, it wasn't that expensive, but now I'll tell you what, the natural gas isn't the part you can't afford, it's the dang taxation. So the firewood pile, it starts looking pretty good. We got this, and we got the whole slab pile down there from the mill too. And you know, guys, oh, you gotta let it season. Oh dang, the slabs are only 1 inch thick, man. I cut them, and they're out in the open, in the wind and the sun. I'm cool with it. Just burn them. She hiccuped a little bit there, I think. She's trying to let me know that she's mad at me for revving so hard. But let's go get another load. Are the goats out? Nope, this isn't goat weather. They hate it. I'll tell you, those handguards were a good investment. That was one of the first things I put on this bike when I bought it. It was different tires. I got they're called Bear Claws, 12.5 wides in the back, and I think they're 8-inch in the front. I seen guys putting the big wide tires on the front as well, and it's just too much, eh? Like, the steering components on these little Hondas they're not big beefy mud bogging machines, and you put those big wide meats on there, and Well, it's not like it has power steering, so you are the power steering. It's a lot of work. So the 8-inch wides on the front, and then these 12, I think they're 12.5s on the back or something like that. Probably says somewhere, but yeah, bear claw right there, bear claw. And yeah, I mean, some of them still, they got the little rubber nipples on them still. I think the quad just barely got over 11 or 1200 kilometers on it. It's well, it's not even broke in. 2011. I'd probably mentioned that on the channel before, but I can't help myself. I look at it and go, man, why you even been riding this thing more? But when you are as busy as we are, friends, you know, you just don't have time to dedicate to one adventure. You got to do all sorts of things. I don't know if we're gonna get to run this. This thing is sitting here in the snow. I don't think we're gonna get to that other tree, but gotta run at a time. But I was curious, I had this thing apart, cleaning out the bar and the chain and stuff like that, and it'd be nice to see if it actually works. And I'll tell you, you don't gotta pull that soup mix like that. Don't get me wrong, folks. Like, once it's going, he's a good saw. Like, friends, I want to take a moment to just indulge you in the real transparency of the channel here. I took this apart to clean out the chain and the chain adjustment and all these such things to head out and get this firewood for you. And well, see how much it cut there? See that little whiff of dust there? That's what happens when you put the chain on backwards. Enough said. We can't just knowingly leave it on there like that, can we? Don't they say it takes a big man to admit his mistakes, or something to that effect? You're gonna want to loosen that off a hair, I think, anyways. Now then, don't take my word for it. What do I know? I just put the chain on backwards, but I like to take the tension off first, because if you don't do that, then you're never gonna get it all back together, because it doesn't go back together with tension under it. Just back her off a hair. You know, like the dang bar was upside down too, right? So yeah, this should have been a dead, not that you can't run the bar with the writing upside down. It's good to flip the bed. In fact, why don't we just go ahead and do that? You flip the bar over so it wears evenly, because you think it's got all that pressure on one side, the side that you're pushing on, cutting all the time. So that side of the bar is going to wear faster than the other side. So every so often, with maintenance or whatever you happen to be doing, you can go ahead and flip that over. Just make sure the chain's on the right direction. Now you might ask, well, how long does bar last? And all this? I have no idea. I don't know. Just keep an eye on it. But I mean, when you're just an enthusiast like me, you don't go through equipment that fast. I mean, I could have the bar, you know, I might have this bar for the next 15 years, because I got 5-6 chainsaws. I don't use them all regularly, so you spread the wear and tear out, and you could have it for a long time. I was curious though. I thought, you know, let's make sure that's kind of seated there. Let's get that in there like that. And there we go. Oh well, it happens to the best of us, eh? Just suck these up a little bit. Not too tight. I mean, it's not a bowstring. You got that give in there, that's good. Give her a good torque down. See, what I was having troubles with, yeah, that's okay, it stayed. I was having trouble with the chain adjustment on this steel MS291. If any of you folks watching have any suggestions on that, it's about the simplest piece of equipment you could picture But every once in a while, the chain would just tighten itself up while you were running the saw. And I cleaned a bunch of gunk out of it and whatnot. And I mean, I have 2 cuts, what are you gonna tell? But maybe we'll cut some more wood with it later on and see if indeed it's fixed up. Maybe it just, you know, it's needed the bar turned upside down. There isn't no exercise like firewood exercise. Or I have to make a 3rd round. We'll get the splitting block, the saw, and all them goodies, and that'll about wrap it. What are the chances of losing a block in the same spot on the same hill both trips? See, it's a good thing we left the saw and stuff back there. I got up to unload, phone rings. Why am I carrying a phone in my pocket anyways? But my wife says, "You coming in for hot lunch?" Man, she's a good woman. And I said, well, nope, I gotta go back to get the saw, or I would have been tempted. Would have been tempted. Okay, this is went from snowing to, I don't know what you call this, a way more intense version of snowing. We're gonna look like a drowned rat here in about 5 minutes. Good timing for the last pickup. You put the saw in last so you don't hit it with a block of firewood. Be sure to count your tools. 1 axe, 1 splitting saw, little block of firewood. We won't be splitting that. I think that'll just become the chopping block up at the house, because forget that. Well, locked and loaded, folks. I'm glad that didn't sit out another winter, because it was barely firewood as it was. So waste not, want not. As always, I appreciate you taking the time to spend a few minutes with the Sprucestomper YouTube channel. The adventures are in no particular order. I just know there's going to be another adventure. We'll catch you on the next film. I overcommitted to that shot. You know, we spare no expense here on the Sprucestomper channel for the cinematic experience. Onward.